Wake Forest, little changes, if you will. Not the number 9, Roll Mitchell, one of the top goal scorers in the country, but Baba Niang, will see him on the outside. Excited to see that?
I'm very excited to see Baba get a start here. He deserves it. He's earned it. He has some versatility, so getting to start out wide, making room for some talented players there in the midfield for Wake, and excited to see what he can do with a healthy chunk of minutes.
And Baba Niang, just can be dangerous anywhere on the field, just like Roll Mitchell. 6 goals for him. Will we see another Tuesday night terror if you're an opponent of number 9, Roll Mitchell? Hat trick against Winthrop, brace, and then they'll add that to a Sports Center top 2. Highlight, and apparently Roll Mitchell has got a little bit of a nosebleed, which he will have to go out for a second. That's
Julian Kennedy maybe coming in here.
Sebastian Scribner kind of giving a giggle because.
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do? Look, as somebody who struggled with nosebleeds throughout their entire high school wrestling career, had their nose cauterized 7 different times, I know that struggle. That you never know when they're going to strike. Bobby Muse thinks it's a bit funny too, and it is. You have to laugh.
Yeah. Coach Muse talking with the officials tonight. They kind of have that grin on their face. So 8th season at Wake Forest. Record of 122, 26, and 12. Not too far from 200 for his career, which he more than likely will get this season. Coach Muse, his squad, one of the few teams undefeated in the nation. And number 1 in the ranking after Clemson fell against Syracuse Orange. Once again, another Tuesday night where we can't quite get things going, right? We had false start.
That's right.
So now here we go. We're underway here in Winston-Salem. The Demon Deacons in the gold tops and the black shorts. Cooper Flax, the freshman, back at the center of the pitch. And Kala Thomas, after a goal, first of the season. That's all they needed against Virginia Tech. A feisty and probably, in the words of Coach Muse, the best winless team in the country. His guy, his buddy, Coach Brizendine.
Yeah, that was a gutty win, and we talked about how this team has just passed test after test this year. It hasn't been perfect. What team is perfect in this game, right? But they have been able to really calmly and coolly get through adversity. That Virginia Tech team played a mid-block that really frustrated the Deacs at times. They've won in games against Air Force where they struggled occasionally, and they got past Fairleigh Dickinson in a game where the opponent just wouldn't go away. So this team has faced adversity a number of times and come through with 3 points each time.
Yeah, and Coach Muse told us today about that, is that he liked the fact that they were kind of scrapping to win against FDU. He says that even though they would expect to win by more, that was kind of a growing moment for the squad. Hey, may feel like a loss to them, but it's still a win, and it's what you can build from them rather than seeing an L beside your name.
Well, Bobby told us before the game, he said, I'd rather be learning from wins than losses, right? As much as he might complain about wanting to be perfect, and understandably so as the coach, you're also going to take the 3 points.
Yep. Let's see if Niang will send this one, and he once again goes after our camera guy. That's twice this season he's gone after a camera guy right above the crossbar.
Yeah, he went for finesse that time rather than power. We know he has the power in his tool bag, but this time tried to just deliver a little bit of a curler and fool the goalkeeper. I think maybe he'll want to try that one a couple more times on the training field before bringing it out in the game, because it didn't come particularly close. We know he's got the talent and the skill to deliver a fearsome strike in a number of different facets. Just got to get used to it a little bit.
Down on the pitch is Kamara, not happy with the call for a throw-in for Wake Forest. Well, the comparison of the two coaches with Costanzo and Muse. Both learned under Coach Vidovich. Costanzo coming over from Pitt as an assistant coach and helped with a lot of great programs or teams in the past years under Coach Vidovich, transforming that program. And Coach Bobby Muse also was a student under Coach Vidovich here at Wake Forest before he got his first head coaching gig in Denver, or at Denver. And now he's back here. So two Coach Vidovich disciples, if you will. Costanzo also played at Maryland, transferred his last 2 years to play at a stout Maryland team. And that is a big-time program. And a legendary coach, also played with a couple of U.S. men's national team players. Edu was one of them. A defender. And played against these Demon Deacons when they were a part of the ACC.
George Mason playing this game, looking for fouls a couple of times, trying to get possession on the ball and slow the game down. Hasn't worked so far. Referee has not been obliged to give them those free kick opportunities. Both chances looked, at least at first glance, like fouls.
Now Flax stays on. Flax with the right foot trying to send that one to Kennedy, and Kennedy waited for it to get there, just never did arrive.
Yeah, it took a little bit of a deflection. Great run by Cooper Flax, though. What a talent he is in midfield. Can do it all. Going forward on the ball, moving backwards off the ball. He just is so talented. He has so many different skills in his bag. He can be the one to receive that through ball like we saw there, make a well-timed run, but he can be the one to deliver it too.
Also very good with distribution is number 20, Ryan Fessler, starts tonight. One of those players that's pretty much a starter that has to come off the bench. This kid has got phenomenal vision. There it is on display to Baba Niang. Niang across looking for Kennedy. Just cut out in the nick of time. As Kennedy was waiting. Turn. And they're going to call a foul on Wake Forest. As Fessler was making his way into the 18, looking to challenge keeper Jake Langley.
Yeah, I think this is the right call here. The ball in, stolen away by Kennedy. That's a terrible back pass. Fessler, though, tried to latch onto that pass, and just a little bit of pushing and shoving, physically trying to assert himself onto the ball and win that goal-scoring chance for Wake Forest. Referee finally gives George Mason what they were looking for. They are going to have to be very careful. George Mason, they want to play a possession-style game against Wake Forest. That's going to be extremely difficult. So they got to take their chances. But a back pass like that right to the Wake Forest striker is not going to do it.
Sam Jones, she starting tonight, part of this number 2 recruiting class. Will most likely take over the duties once Mpanza will leave. Here's Niang. Niang once again trying to link up with Kennedy. Niang, you think he's going to give it up. He continues to move with it. It's just stuck at his foot. And you can't help but ball watch. I mean, if I was on the pitch, I'd probably ball watch.
Well, I mean, he's just got such good power and such pace along with it that it's impressive to watch. I thought he was going to take aim himself there and go for the top corner. Instead, tried to thread the ball in through to Kennedy, and it was just a little bit late. Kennedy knew he was offside by the time the ball was delivered. So Kennedy stopped his run, but they get the deflection and the corner anyways out of it. So a bit lucky for Wake Forest, but boy, they racked up corners this year.
Forbes, yeah, one of the best in the country. Forbes sending this one cooking, and Fessler wants to cook this one outside of the 18. And a desperation clearance at the back line for the Patriots.
How about that delivery by Forbes? The Deacs have racked up, like you saw, so many corners this year. Number 1 in the ACC on that department, but they just have not been able to get consistently dangerous deliveries from them. That we saw there from Jelani Forbes was a high-quality delivery into the middle of the penalty area. Ultimately, nobody there to meet it, but that's the kind of service you need on those corners to really be dangerous from that set piece.
George Mason trying to get dangerous into the attacking third, but surrounded by gold jerseys. Kennedy skipping out of the way. Last second ad as Rold Mitchell had to go out with a bloody nose. Hopefully he'll be all right. Kennedy invites the start. Maybe it mentally was not ready to start, but he's been moving where he needs to be as a number 9 up top. And we'll wait for number 9 in gold to get back on the pitch. As Trace Alfin almost slipped up. Good step right there by Fowell. Fowell's brother, Josh, who was a high pick in the draft, super draft for MLS. He's actually now playing for the National League. And if you're watching that documentary for Ryan Reynolds' new club, that's the league they play in.
Welcome to Wrexham.
Yeah.
Yeah, how cool is that? Rob McElhaney and Ryan Reynolds owning a football club over in England.
Niang pulling it to his left. One extra touch. Solid defense by George Mason to keep this thing 0-0.
Yeah, they've defended in desperation a couple of times. Niang looking for a tight angle shot there. Good coverage by the George Mason defense. See what Cooper Flax can do. See if he can follow up what Jelani Forbes delivered last time. They get a couple of those, they're sure to find the back of the net.
And you keep having corner kicks, you're going to figure it out. Like right there.
It's an excellent delivery and a good effort by Garrison Tubbs. Just put it a little close to the goalkeeper, didn't maybe get the power he wanted on it. Sometimes on those looping corner deliveries, you have to give the ball a little bit of extra juice on the header, kind of whip your neck at it and power the ball into the back of the net. That is such a difficult skill, Ty. I think heading for goals is one of the most underrated skills in this game. It is so difficult to get power and accuracy with your head. Get the angle just right and get the power just right. You see Flax's delivery there, 2 for 2 on corners. He flicked that one. Didn't have the placement to get it past the goalkeeper. Good effort.
I'd say it's right there. I would say volley is probably a little bit more difficult, but
sure,
heading is also, because it's all about timing. You're used to hand-eye coordination and foot-eye coordination, but then you have to work with timing it and then pulling back the neck and giving it enough oomph and placing it. Thomas. I wonder if Tubbs, with that armband, is meant to be neon so they can see him inside the mixer. There's Baba Niang close to the end line. They'll continue to dance with it, just so comfortable with the ball. And Tubbs, and you know, you get these players that will take a little bit more extra touches than you want. The ones that you get frustrated with are the ones that lose it. Well, Baba Niang doesn't really lose it. You know, he might take an extra touch, but it's not like he'll turn a turnover real quickly.
No, he's just too strong for that. Can easily regain the ball when he takes a bit of a heavy touch or a loose touch.
Well, he does have now we should say, a KI killer instinct look to his face when he gets on the pitch. And who were we talking to that week when it was a PK against UAB? I think it was Rold Mitchell said he wanted to take it. And then Baba Niang gave him this look, and Rold said no more. Said, okay, you're definitely taking this. Thomas may get another goal. Moving it to his left, looking for a pathway, blocked away. And George Mason, the Patriots, trying to see if they can orchestrate something to give Trace Alfin a little bit of work.
Yeah, Ty, I've been very impressed with this George Mason team so far. It was very interesting because you know we talked to head coach Rich Costanzo before the game, and I asked him, I said, you know, he had so much praise for this team. He said they've really done well to embrace the style of play that I've wanted to play here in my first year. It took a couple of games, and you know that is reflected on the schedule, but they've really
come around to that style. And I asked him, okay, what's one thing they need to work on? He said, you know, mentality is still something we need to work on, just getting the team to buy in, be all in, and really come to work with 100% every day. They have come with 100% today. They're very organized. They're defending well. There's an excellent tackle on that run by Colin Thomas. And, you know, this is a team that wants to play a possessional style, and they've played without the ball a lot today, and they're making it look like they're used to being this organized.
Yeah, and the series between these two teams, the fifth meeting, it's just the third meeting here in Winston-Salem, and if you look at the scoreline, it's pretty close. It's not like one team, Wake Forest, goes, you know, an easy walk in the park. It's 1-4 the last 4 prior meetings. And you see that the last year was just a 1-0 win. Compliments of Jake Swallen, shot from outside the 18. Last time they played here in Winston-Salem was just about to the day, almost up 19 years ago, September 16th, 2003. And that was a 2-1 victory for the Demon Deacons.
And how about the job that Rich Costanzo has done this year as well? Even this early, you look at the team's 2-3 record. They had 2 wins over the last 2 seasons combined. Ty, they went winless in the COVID year, 0-6-3, and then picked up 2 wins in all of last year. And now they've got back-to-back wins here to start this season after 3 defeats. So really turning things around and building a program that can grow and move forward under new leadership.
Yeah, confidence is a scary thing. You finally get an A-10 victory, something they had not seen in a while. A victory over St. Bonaventure. And the Patriots moving up that ladder, trying to make a little mark in Costanzo's first year. And if he is a student of Coach Vidovich, I think you're in good hands. A good hire by George Mason.
You know, the passing's not quite there for George Mason yet, and that can get frustrating. So they'll have to keep a lid on the emotion here moving forward. But the organization and the positioning has been fantastic. They're playing in this really what amounts to it. We expected a 4-3-3, but off the ball, it's more of a flat 4-4-2. And there is somebody in every passing lane, at least contesting the deliveries into the danger areas for Wake Forest.
Risky pass back to Langley as Kennedy was right in the area. Suzuki with a step. And they'll say he came in a little late. And a free kick to the Patriots. There's Ariel Aguas from Quito, Ecuador. Got the game winner versus Radford. Played at Grand Canyon University.
Yeah, and I tell you what, Coach Costanza really talked him up when we spoke earlier. He said this guy's come in and he's a warrior, he called him, and he praised his leadership in this team because this is a team that has a couple of seniors on the roster, but you know, with a new coach, they're looking for people to step up and be leaders in the squad. And Coach Costanza said he has been that guy.
A good attitude too. He emphasized recently that there's more to the game of soccer than just scoring and winning. It's just about being patient, and especially with where he is on this team, new first-year head coach. Being patient with yourself and your team. And you want that kind of senior leadership. As Vlad Wallin comes in, Flax will go out. Freshman in for freshman. Now will they push Niang into the middle, or will Wallet play that center mid position? It looks like Baba Niang will tuck in. Kojima not starting. No problems, just a little bit of rest. It's a quick turnover, and Wake Forest took on Virginia Tech, had 9 days of rest before they played them. And Wake Forest with bang, bang, bang. So this is the importance of having a deep roster.
Great step by Garrison Tubbs. He has really made that center back position his own. He's kind of been yanked around the lineup, his first few years here at Wake Forest. Moved to fullback, back to center back, never really got consistency at any spot. Interesting decision here by the official. 2 players falling over each other, and Colin Thomas called for the foul.
Someone that's not out there with the persona as a dirty player, but yeah, he had pulled maybe that little
just a little arm on the shoulder, but then they got tangled up in their feet. That's not worth a foul. I do see, though, little arm over the shoulder. Look out for Wake Forest, because this is the spot that a team like George Mason could really show up.
And Nicholas Paroli will send a curler.
It's a great delivery.
He's a freshman. From Houston, Texas. And an assist against the Bonnies. Here's Niang with that cut.
He is going to win so many fouls this year, Ty. I mean, he is just an unplayable player at times. And the only thing you can do against a talent like Niang is foul.
Head referee Carmen Serbio, assistant referee John Hyde, and then Raymond Thomas. The side judges, Garrison Tubbs without Prince and Ponza tonight, but holding down that back line and mentoring Sam Jones, who looks to be fit to be the new center back of the future. Fessler skipping into the 18. Went down. No call. And there's Garrison Tubbs right there at the halfway line saying, let's send a long diagonal.
Again, white jerseys in every passing lane. Wake Forest consistently forced to bring the ball back and recycle possession, try to send it around the other side to work something else.
Well, Lent with some speed. That's good speed, too, on the outside back position for George Mason. That is something to have in the A-10. Able to track down Lent.
Yeah, and the Deacs have really done well this season with using their wingers out wide on the flanks near the corner flag and then sending lateral crosses into the box, scoring goals that way. You know, really taking advantage of the positions right outside the edge of the penalty area. George Mason has not allowed any of that tonight. They are ready for the Wake Forest wingers to do work down the side, and they are sticking right with them.
That was Wexman who chased down Valent. Wexman from Barrington, Illinois. Got the game winner against St. Bonaventure. His first collegiate goal. Last year he saw 38 minutes against this Demon Deacon team. They played at home. Forbes sent that one. Hoping to go to the corner and hoping that Julian Kennedy could chase it down.
Now playing for the
22 and a half to go in the first. 45. Guarino comes out. Kennedy.
Number 11, Leo Guarino.
Place of Guarino. And this is where frustration can build when you're cutting the pitch in half and constantly in the final third, but still sitting at a bagel on the scoreboard.
Yeah, Ty, it can, but they have not been dismayed this season. Wake Forest has been here before. They know how to use the full 90 minutes, not get worried, not get frustrated. We saw it against Fairleigh Dickinson last time here at Spry when twice the opponent leveled the score. Wake just kept working, kept digging, kept poking and prodding, looking for a goal, and never got frustrated. They've been here before.
And that into the corner. Something that Wake Forest seems to live at the corner flag.
Wake Forest corner kick taken by number 8, Baba Mie.
Three corner kicks for the Demon Deacons. Still 0 for George Mason. And that was intended for the near stick to flick on. Nice back heel by Sam Jones. Kind of surprised Garrison Tubbs.
Yeah, it surprised the defense, and it surprised his teammates as well. It would have been just a little better if he had not put so much mustard on it. But that is some incredible skill and ingenuity from a center back, Sam Jones.
Good look out on a ladder there. And a 50-50 ball. Fessler starting tonight. Fessler, good vision again. Immediately sees the left side is open. Wallins lays it off to Forbes. Forbes into the middle right there at the 6. And it was a one-timer for Garino, but good defense again by George Mason. Still not allowing the water to get in the ship, aren't they?
Yeah, they are really closing down the passing lanes again. Just there at the last second, able to poke it away. I think that was Carson with the last-ditch poke. They're going to need a lot more of those tonight, but so far on the money.
It's Fessler again. Trying to find Garino. Garino moving back and forth. Recycle and play the left side of the pitch. There's Wallin. 19.5 to go in the first half. Wake Forest #1 in the country taking on George Mason. Escribano. He sent that one with a little hop in it. Last touch by George Mason, so it will be another corner. Forbes will calmly go over to take it. Noah Raphael will come in for George Mason. Bo Cummins comes in. Sophomore. Let's see what the Deacons can do on this corner. Sent well. Punched away from Langley. Here's Garino. Turn and slotted in. 1-0. Beautiful goal by Garino.
Wow, from really a position where you would not expect someone to score, his back to goal from a very tight angle, and somehow has eyes on the back of his head and finds the window he needs to slot that ball home. What an excellent, really a bit of creativity from Leo Garino, a player who has seen just, sparse minutes coming off the bench. Out of nothing, grabs the ball here and then whips it with his left foot. A perfect strike. Not much room. Here's an excellent camera angle. Look at this. Not much room to go through the legs of the defender and then inside the far post. Beautiful shot.
George Mason is challenging that he was offside, but I don't see how he'd be offside on that one. There was a player in the offside position, but they didn't play him. The only argument you could say is, did it alter the vision of the keeper? And the goal will stand. It's 1-0. Garino gets the Deeks on the board first. About 18 minutes to go. Congregation letting off the celebratory smoke bomb. Of course, lingering in the back of the heads of this Demon Deacon team is what lies ahead coming up this weekend. Offside Colt. Linson.
Yeah, so you look here at a replay to see what we can find on the offside. So Garino looks level with the defender here that was just to his left, or our left. You know, that it's tough to tell from that angle, but I really do think that, you know, at best it would have been a very tight call.
Unless they were thinking that, I guess, Garino was started in an offside position to come and then collect the ball. We saw that a lot against Farley Dickinson. George Mason going to use the outside gunner as Cummins goes down, and Kamara saying, "Get up." Cummins saying, "Relax." And the referee is going to talk to Kamara. Kamara receiving the throw-in. Possession back to Wake Forest, and they're off like a rocket with Wallent leading. Wallent will calm it down a little bit. Do the switch to Cummins. Cummins, Garino. There, we'll receive it. Garino, head up, sends it across, and it's just over the head of Baba Niang.
Well, Leo Garino coming off the bench and providing a spark for Wake Forest. That is how much talent is on this team. You never know on any given night who's going to show up and bring the fire for this home team. The #1 ranked Deeks, just such a deep team. I remember when we were going into the NC State game and we talked to Coach Kiefer. I said, you know, this is a team that really doesn't have any superstars on it. There's not one go-to player. You know, what's it like to try and match up a team of, you know, just a bunch of guys rather than, you know, a team with one standout player? And he goes, do you really believe what you just said? He said it's an entire team of standout players, not a bunch of guys. That's really true.
Long ball over the back line to Thomas, and Thomas draws the double team. Diagonal ball to Fessler. Fessler with a left. Fessler can hit it from there. It's more of a fadeaway jumper from the outside. Garino holding the ball up, places it back to Niang.
What a poke by Fessler to keep possession there.
Cummins. An option on the back door, sends this one way over the bar and out of bounds for a goal kick.
And again, great defending by George Mason. They continue to just put in a shift here at Spry. It's Kamara that time who's back up against Cummins, and he pressures Spo Cummins enough that he could not deliver a high-quality cross.
There's Coach Costanzo. Rubio coming in for the Demon Deacons.
Now in for Wake
And
Forest,
look
number 7,
who is
Nico
in for
Romeo.
Baba Niang. Omar Hernandez. He started off on the IR, and now back to, I should say, 100%. He's going to have to get his sea legs, if you will, but it's a nice sight to see
Coming in for George Mason,
if you're a
number
Demon
13,
Deacon fan,
Zach
as well as number
Eichelberger,
16
playing for
coming
Wake
in.
Forest.
Fessler
Number 16,
will go
Jose
out.
Gutierrez.
Fessler, who started, outstanding center mid.
Yeah, you know, you mentioned Omar Hernandez, and I'm sure Coach Bobby Muse will expect to have Hernandez in the starting lineup as this team moves forward through the heart of ACC play. He is such a talented player, such a creative player in midfield, and is really just a star there in the middle. And a big reason why Baba Niang is playing on the outside. They want to get Omar that starting spot.
Well, Lynch delivers on the ground looking for Garino. Garino knew he had a very small window. There's Omar Hernandez. Good press. Garino lays it off. Here is Kojima. And a little bit of bar music there as that one pinged off the crossbar.
Yeah, how about
Still
that?
shaking, by the way.
Rattled the snare drum with that shot. I mean, goodness gracious, a lot of power behind that. Touch to his left, got the defender to fly by onto the ground and then back onto his right.
Hernandez to the left. And that extra touch just to move it to his right and then
number 22,
pinged it off.
Yeah,
Crossbar.
if you're getting picky, the spot to hit that shot was the top right corner. He tried to sneak it in under the crossbar right above the goalkeeper. Not a big window there. The top right corner, though, was begging for that shot, but what a hit from Kojima. He keeps searching for the back of the net. Already with 2 goals this year.
He is the motor of this side of Wake Forest. Up and down, and does not show any signs where he is exhausted. I mean, after the match, too.
Yeah. Does extra running sometimes.
It's almost as if he wants to play another 90 minutes. From Japan, that came over and played in the IMG Academy.
And you know, the thing that you don't see here when you watch the 90 minutes on the field is the rest and recovery process that these players have to go through. It is a massive part of a successful season for Coach Bobby Muse. They put so much focus into training the players to recover properly, using the right stretches and techniques, have every possible therapy needed at their disposal because they need to be able to go 90 minutes each and every day.
It's a brutal game, man. It is a brutal game. Up and down for 90 minutes. At this field, it's 120 by 75. So that's why, once again, it's always clutch to have a long bench. And also, it's clutch to have a good nutrition doctor. Because that recovery is essential. Even how fit these athletes are on both sides, you still need recovery time. We learned the hard way, though, when you're weekend warriors and you have one game on Sunday, right, Kyle? And then you feel it for 4 days afterwards.
Yeah. Or in our case, 3 months. I should say my case. I don't speak for you.
Trust me, I have my fair share of crutches, canes, and braces.
Yeah, occasionally crutches are required.
Coming in for Wake Forest, number 6, Eitan Johannes.
How about Eitan Johannes coming in? Another crown jewel of this #1 recruiting class. Well, #2 recruiting class technically, but some say it should be #1 for various technicalities. But Johannes, a big part of that. He is so impressive that we've seen at the defensive midfield role. He hasn't got many minutes, but when he's come in, it's like Suzuki hasn't left, which is a very, very high praise.
He came in late on that recruiting class. A big add to already the top 5 recruiting class for Coach Bobby Muse, Dane Brunner, and Coach Steve Armas. You see what Clemson, their recruiting class this season wasn't as high as you used to, right? Or Pittsburgh, pardon me. And you know, sometimes you'll have those years where you don't have one that's in the top 10, and every coach will say rankings, schnankings, you know.
Right.
As Kojima looked up, he had plenty of options to his right, went to the left.
Yeah, he actually had Garino right through the middle.
Here's Sidney Paris, laid that one right in front of Rubio, and snatching it away is Langley, the senior goalkeeper from Villanova, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, man, I tell you what, those windows are small at this level. You don't get much time to deliver that ball. There's another opening here.
Good fight, Kojima. Kojima, a lot of traffic inside of the 18, and yes, Kyle, once again, what is it?
It's a corner. Oh, Wake Forest corner. How many times have we said that this year? Lots.
This time it'll be
Wake Forest corner
Omar
taken ball.
Hernandez
Number
taking it.
17, Omar Hernandez.
And I'm told in many broadcasts that he can use both feet. He'll use the left here. Outswinger, Rubio. Oh, that was almost a header assist for a header for Sam Jones.
Little fumble by the goalkeeper makes you wonder what could happen here. George Mason had a tough situation with their goalkeeper. Senior Jackson Lee transferred to West Virginia in the offseason, and that was something that really put them in a bind. And sure enough, Coach Costanzo went out and got his man in the transfer portal. Jake Langley comes in to this George Mason program from Westchester University.
Yeah, kind of putting those pieces together. Costanzo in his first year. And Langley coming into this match with a 1.60 goal against average in 450 minutes as the netminder. And at Westchester University only appeared 2 games, 1 start.
Said, hey, if I can get playing time somewhere else in my senior year, might as well do it.
That's a good eye by the coaching staff at George Mason. You know, seeing a kid that they didn't get a lot of action at his institution from last year and bringing him here to George Mason. Oh, good ball. And he's offside, but man, oh man, you couldn't have played that ball any better as it was right off the chest. Bang, bang, bang play. That is very, very good skill right there by Noah Raphael.
Yeah, and this ball got Garrison Tubbs all kind of turned around. He knew that the attacker was there, but he was not ready for a delivery of that quality. He, you could tell, was looking for the through ball on the ground. Instead, the looper through the air, chested down by the attacker, just completely fooled Tubbs.
That is a very good chest down. I might have been really close to being onside, but still 1-0. There's the transfer from Navy. Sidney Paris, he'll have to quickly retreat. And yeah, that's one of those balls that you hate to get because you know you're in an offside position and you're just hoping that your teammate does not see you. He sees you play it, you get it, and you're, yeah, I'm off.
How about Noah Raphael, too, with the skill you said to chest that ball down? Comes from that 2020 National Championship Marshall squad, transferring here to George Mason for 1 more year.
Oh, this is a freshman mistake by Sam Jones, and it equals an equalizer. Tough play right in the back is Sam Jones, a big recruit. Just a little mishap, and just like that, it's 1-1.
Yeah, and Zach Eichelberger with the goal here for George Mason. You get one-on-one with Trace Alphen. There is not much that a goalkeeper could do there. Take another look at this. Just gets right by Sam Jones, the touch, and then the finish. Excellent job by Eichelberger, a freshman from Baltimore, scoring a goal against the #1 team in the country. But again, we talked about this. Wake Forest has been here before. They took a couple punches from Fairleigh Dickinson last time here at Spry Stadium and managed to stay calm, work hard, know that the other team was under pressure, not them, and continue to challenge for a second goal. So 3.5 minutes here to go in the first half, and then 45 minutes in the second half to pull out a victory. Deeks have been here before, but what a moment for George Mason just to earn that one-on-one opportunity and the equalizer.
Yeah, Sam Jones just have to shake that off. That's a freshman. Those happen when you're a freshman. You get back, you get in, you're just trying to learn the game. I remember Prince and Ponza had one that he would like to forget, but see how he turned out, right?
Absolutely. And we've seen plenty of Sam Jones in training, too, to know that he is a talent.
Yeah, he should not put his head down for that. It's something that comes with the territory, being a freshman, coming on the big stage of college soccer.
I tell you what, Ty, this is a good moment to bring this up. Spoke with U.S. national team striker Jesus Ferreira today. He had a media availability ahead of their friendlies, their pre-World Cup friendlies. And he said something very interesting. 21 years old is Jesus Ferreira, played for FC Dallas, and he talked at length about having a sports psychologist alongside with him, because he said, as a 21-year-old, he said, hey, I recognize that I kept my head down a lot. I got really frustrated often, and I was getting down at moments that would then leave me in a worse position. And so, it's those moments that you got to shake off, and sometimes working on your mental health can help a lot with that.
That's one muscle that sometimes gets overlooked.
Sure.
Hernandez. And he sends a sizzler, but outside of the side net.
But, it's just so impressive for me to finish that tie that a 21-year-old kid is able to recognize, and he said, I credit my coaches and teammates because they're the ones who said, hey, you're getting really frustrated sometimes and it's spiraling your performances. And so for a 21-year-old to recognize that and say, hey, I need help in this department, and go out and seek that out was really impressive to me. And so, for college kids here and a freshman to be able to take a mistake into the back pocket, you learn from it, you don't forget it, but you don't let it bring you down and beat you twice.
They get back up and do what you love to do. And Sam Jones, of course, will recover from this.
Wake Forest corner kick taken by
as part of the growing pains of once again getting into the college soccer world. Here is Hernandez.
I think he rushed that one a bit with under a minute to go.
So we'll do a give and go. Nice turn by Paris. Oh, and how did that get in? I don't know if Garrison Tubbs, did he flick it? He's claiming it. And the Deacons, with 28 seconds remaining, get back on top, 2-1.
Ty, this is Garrison Tubbs' goal, but this is all thanks to Sidney Paris. A brilliant bit of skill to get free on the outside of the box, and then how about the outside of the boot delivery for the header to Garrison Tubbs? He was there, and he claims that's a more traditional left-footed cross. I thought he hit that with the outside of his right foot, but brilliant cross right to the head of Garrison Tubbs, and bang, a perfect finish. We saw Garrison earlier. He tried the header, didn't get the power on it, right at the goalkeeper. Gets another opportunity right before halftime and does not make a mistake this time.
Tubbs definitely put his fingerprints on that one. I thought maybe that one just skated by and it was a
Sidney Paris goal, but number 32, the captain, says, I like having the lead, makes it 2-1 now. The 12th shot of the night.
10, 9, 8, 7.
Ty, they always say in hockey, they say first minute, last minute, right? Those are the times where you can kind of let your guard down a little bit, and the Deeks took advantage of that last minute here in the first half.
There's our scoring summary. Leo Guarino off the bench gets his second goal this season. And he slot one to the outside or the far stick. And then Eckelberger, a freshman, a mistake in the back. And Eckelberg does capitalize and gets his first.
This 4-game road trip. I mean, you don't get many of those in college soccer, so this will be very telling for the team. You know, we've won 2 in a row that began the building blocks for this program, and now we have to go and take the foundation that we've built and start building a house.
Harrison Tubbs sending that one really, really long, and starting in the second half is Roll Mitchell, who went out in the last 2 seconds. Sears, first touch, almost sent that one rippling into the net. Here's another play. Someone that is, okay, maybe second best goal of the year. Sears, arguably number 1. First touch, bang.
Roll Mitchell almost got the rebound on that, but I think he may have been offside if he had put that in the back of the net. How about that poke from Oscar Sears? Good save by Langley. Give him a bit of credit. Kick save and a beauty.
The Deacons holding on to a 1-goal lead. Hope to not have the nerve-wracking match they did last Tuesday against FDU. And that will wear on you too. And Coach Buse talked about that a little bit when we spoke with him. You know, you get the lead, FDU ties it. Get the lead again, FDU ties it. You're expecting to at least win by 2 goals, and FDU keeps matching you, but you stay in the fight and kind of do a gritty move, and grit it out. Cummins and track this one down.
Again, George Mason players looking for fouls, not given there. It looks like maybe just a trip instead of a foul there. It's been Kamara who has been looking at the referee with his palms up a couple of times and left a bit red-faced there on the ground.
Good to see Sam Jones back on there. Get back on the horse. Keep your head up. That's the beautiful thing of soccer. It's constantly in play, so you don't have time to dwell on the past.
Yeah, and you know, that's funny because this sport can eat you alive. You know, mistakes like that start compounding, and you let it beat you twice, 3 times, and all of a sudden you've got a confidence problem. But it can also build you up if you can get past mistakes. Like we said, put them in your back pocket, right? You don't want to forget your mistakes because then you're not learning. But as long as you can keep them there in the back pocket and not in front of your face, will do you a world of good.
We can just ask Prince and Ponza. And Cummins will get called and possibly booked on a trip up. He's been banging around with the outside attacker there for a couple times. Bo Cummins. He invites the foot race. He's going to show you his speed.
Yeah, just a bit of a bump there, and then the drag back. That's what drew the yellow card. That is an automatic yellow card if the referee sees that pullback. Cummins absorbs the card. Again, a young player learning with his minutes on the field.
And he plays in the back this summer for USL 2. He played some in the midfield. It was USL 2 squad, Charlotte. Oliver gets some minutes here in the second half. Another wave of fresh legs. As we got a lot of speed on the outside with Thomas and Oliver. And Rold Mitchell fresh too.
Yeah, you mentioned Rold Mitchell being fresh. You're right, he had to go out in the first half. Ready to start. I mean, he was on the field when they were about to kick off and got a bloody nose. Those things can strike at any time, but now fresh legs for the second half.
Rold Mitchell settle. Beautiful settle. Thomas gets out of the way. This will scoop up, maybe hoping for Oliver. Oliver gives the thumbs up, saying that was the right idea. He wanted to come to Oliver. 13 shots for the Demon Deacons, just 1 for the Patriots of George Mason. Look at the sky-high Sam Jones knocking that one down, 50-50 ball. Still in the fight, the Patriots. They've won 2 straight, not flinching. Tubbs wrestled down. Tubbs scoring a goal last 30 seconds of the first half, making it 2-1. Forbes. Sam Jones is a freshman, and how he is built. Just imagine, say next year, after a season first year, because that frame in the back is
going to cause a lot of problems for attackers in the air. You're absolutely right.
When Michael DeShields was there and a stout frame too, he just commanded order back there. Forbes, 1 touch to Thomas. Thomas looks up. Does he have an option? Rold Mitchell's there, and it's Sears who hits the back of the net. and it's 3-1. Sears, number 2 on the year, and the Deacons go up 2 goals.
Tom, it is just too easy there in the attack for this Wake Forest team. They are so patient, so good at waiting for the right opportunity. Look at Colin Thomas here. Comes down the left edge of the penalty area, and he's got his head up the whole time. The little head fake, the no-look pass to Sears for the easy finish. Thomas just waiting the whole time. Look at Brooks. No look. Right to Sears with the cutback and the goal. Now you see, now you know.
Oh, man. Colin Thomas. A little bit of and one. No look. I believe that was the second touch by Oscar Sears, too. Second touch, second shot. This time gets it past Langley, and it's 3-1. There's the unblemished record once Wake Forest scores 3+ goals. Coach Muse won't like that, but that's the facts here. 56-0-0 when his team scores 3 goals or more. George Mason has gotten a taste of a goal here. And they feel that they can put more past Trace Alphen. Here's Rold Mitchell. Slow arriving, but making his way is Chase Oliver, just trying to stay behind the line. And the ball goes back to the Patriots. Colin Thomas on the other side of the pitch. He's just everywhere. Thomas is a very shy kid, but man, when he's on the pitch, you wouldn't think that just the way he flies up and down the field. Pretty humble kid, but a lot of skill. It's George Mason trying to engineer something. Well, they once saw the tie 1-1. Now is a 3-1 Wake Forest lead off the 14th shot of the night.
All I can see now after seeing that Colin Thomas no-look pass is the social team putting a video up where they just freeze it, right, where he's looking the opposite way, and then the sunglasses drop down and it says deal with it.
You just dropped that as your suggestion.
That's right.
Suggestion box. Social media team here at Wake Forest. They're always first on the scene too, though. So
yeah, I'm sure they've got a better idea than what I threw out there.
Flag up, out of bounds, and Wake Forest will get the throw in. Deacons have now outscored their opponent 40-7 in this streak. 7 clean sheets. There won't be a clean sheet tonight. Here's another astonishing stat. Since the beginning of the 2015 season, Bobby Muse's first year, the Deacons have won 88 home matches, which is 20 more than any other program in the country. Indiana is next at 68.
It's just consistency, right? You know, programs can hit high highs, and maybe the Deeks haven't had the really elevated highs under Bobby Muse just yet, but they have been such a consistently dominant program. And this should be a yellow card as well, as Wake Forest had numbers, and it will be.
Our graphics guy right on the spot, putting up those
George Mason, yellow
little
card,
nuggets.
number 19, Will Carson.
A yellow card for Will Carson.
Freshman who has looked very good at the back for George Mason. When you're in your first year at a new program like Coach Costanzo, if you're good enough, you're old enough.
Right.
He's got a number of freshmen in the starting lineup here tonight and in the rotation.
Well, St. Louis is the team to beat in the Atlantic 10. I saw a VCU squad last year that was very good. And Oscar Sears tiptoeing down the 18. One extra touch. Got it taken away. That ball squirted through to Chase Oliver and just couldn't get that extra advantage there to move the ball ahead. Good defense by George Mason to stomp out that attack. 35.5 left to go in the second half, pardon me, and the Deacons now with a 2-goal cushion. Misplayed ball by Forbes, but you can see the Deacons quickly getting back to get possession back. You saw how they owned the possession game in the first half, 65% to 35% for GMU. Once again, using that outside attack, which has been really, really dangerous, and that's going up against the speedy Bo Cummins. As Kamara is a nice weapon to have on the outside, as he is able to escape. Once you can stretch the field like that, Kyle, that can do wonders for your attack.
Sure can. Deeks have used the wide areas very, very well to start the season.
Look at that ball by Forbes. Chase Oliver cuts into the middle. Plays rolled Mitchell. Oh, look at the cheeky play, and Oliver on the other end of it will flip this one in, and the dismount.
I mean, I'm left mouth agape. How do you defend that? The answer is you can't. It's a brilliant move. In the middle, Oscar Sears with the flick. Oh my goodness. I mean, you just can't stop that. Ingenuity at its best, just a back heel right between the lines. And
could that be a Sports Center top 10 9 a.m.?
What a delivery.
Chase Oliver no look too.
Yeah, Langley nearly saved it too. What a save that would be. But my goodness, just something you can't defend.
Chase Oliver, him and Roll Mitchell will battle back and forth on their back springs. And Chase Oliver delivers the 4th goal for the Demon Deacons, make it 4-1, his first goal of the season in the 57th minute. And he just started in the second half. Talk about a lot to have to go after is with Chase Oliver for your defense. Hey, bring this guy in, fresh legs who can move up the pitch.
Yeah, you know, the Deeks have really a starting 22, if you will. There's not a starting 11. You've got a 2 deep that could play on any given day. But, I mean, you know, the flick by Oscar Sears, Barcelona fans salivate when Robert Lewandowski does that. But when a college kid, are you kidding me?
Well, Oscar Sears is a Gunner fan, so that makes a lot of sense why he would be that silky smooth and creative.
He's no Bukayo Saka.
A goal and an assist, and a clever back heel to spring Chase Oliver free. And the Deacons may be able to rest a little more easily now, but like you said, Kyle, with how many they have off the bench, everybody's still trying to go 110%.
You know, and Ty, I was talking earlier today about who I think was going to win the World Cup this November and December. And
Brazil?
I had a boring pick, and it was Brazil. And my reason why was exactly the same reason why I think Wake Forest has the talent to win the College Cup this year. And it's because they're deep. Brazil has their second 11 could theoretically win the World Cup. I mean, you've got Rodrigo and Paquetá and Thiago Silva in the second 11.
Yep.
You know, what do they have in the first? And the Deeks are the same way. You've got so much talent that Bobby Muse could bring in an entirely new starting 11, and it would compete in the ACC.
And the talk about Wake Forest was coming in that they were once again young but experienced.
Now on for the Patriots,
Because
13, Zach
remember, they
Eichelberger.
were young in those extra COVID years, getting that experience, which was valuable. Coach Muse constantly would say this is valuable experience. I know he wanted to win, but they're valuable experience, and now you see such a deep team that's used to this type of competition. Here's Alfred. He stopped there at the near side. He hasn't been too busy. See Coach Muse still animated on the sideline. You wouldn't think that his squad is up 4-1. Nice ball cut out by Chase Oliver. Look at Forbes making the run to his left. He'll play him. Forbes with a left foot, and Forbes finishes it. It's 5-1 Deacons.
Well, they're showing off now, Ty, and this is a rout. The Deeks have deserved every bit of chalk they've put up on the board today, and Jelani Forbes the next to get into fun.
And the beautiful thing about soccer, we talked about this at the beginning of the year, is how Forbes was able to make that run, the overlapping run, understanding that that was the position he needed to be. He was a good option, timed it perfectly. The layoff, bang.
And, I mean, just like the last one, Langley got a hand to it, Ty. He almost made another spectacular save. He has been right on these shots, just not able to keep them out.
Deacons have 5 different goal scorers, and guess who's not on the goal scoring sheet? Roll Mitchell, the leading scorer on this team. That's what you were asking Coach Kiefer, like, if they don't really have that number one attacker, but Roll Mitchell, one of the top goal scorers in the nation, you would say, oh yeah, it's simple, it's number 9. But that really is not the story with this team, and
no,
it's on display tonight.
And Roll Mitchell has shown that he can score goals, but he's also shown that he can contribute to this team in many other ways, and that's almost just as important in a system like this.
I was expecting to look up at the clock and think that there's going to be 10 minutes left, but they had almost 30 minutes remaining. 5-1 Deacons now blowing this thing open on 16 shots, 2 no-look passes, a back heel. We got a highlight reel already here on this Tuesday night matchup. There is the creative Chase Oliver. Sears tried to move it just a little bit over to his right.
Ty, something else that's so impressive with this Wake Forest team is their one-touch passing, even under pressure and even in less than ideal circumstances. They are so adamant in training under Bobby Muse about drilling quick one-touch passing. Get it out of your feet. And, you know, obviously you see the glittering dribbles and the silky smooth moves, but what also impresses me are those moments where you receive a pass that's not perfect, right? It's a little too far out in front of you, it's behind you, whatever, and
just by knowing where your teammates are instinctively, you're able to produce a one-touch pass that's creative and ingenious, and maybe, you know, some average players wouldn't be able to pull out of the bag.
George Mason still not going to hold back. They're going to try to work out something offensively. As a through ball got to the foot for a brief moment, and then was cleared away. 5-1 Wake Forest. Hard to imagine that this match was tied 1-1 in the first half. And that's the only shot George Mason has to its name. Sam Jones can lift his head a little bit higher now.
Yes.
5-1 cushion. He's got an assist. Kid has got a bright, bright future.
I mean, we knew that coming in, too, and it's just great that he's been able to show his talent even though he had that mistake.
Walt Mitchell is now rolling on the floor, on the ground, pardon me. He's already had a nosebleed. Now he's holding his forehead. Maybe you got a slap to the head. Looks to be all right. Walt Mitchell, the gentle giant, said he needs a little bit more bite in his game, but 6 goals, that's the way to make a statement. He's probably upset he's got to go back out again after he was expecting to start. And about 20 seconds before we started this thing off, he had to come out because of a nosebleed. Walt Mitchell's like, what more is going to happen to my face tonight? He wants to get in on this goal party, too.
No question.
But this is when the fruits of the labor with the deep team, too, because you have to think ahead. With Clemson, yes, now your mind is kind of on Clemson because he's going to be Saturday night. And you're trying to rest some of your players, and now you have that luxury with a 5-1 lead.
Yeah, Clemson and Duke and Syracuse. Goodness gracious, that schedule has just turned out to produce one heck of a brutal stretch.
You know what is funny too is once that calendar or the schedule came up, it's the 52nd meeting of all time. The article said about kind of a preview of the ACC was Wake Forest is lucky to miss Pitt on the road, miss a couple of good teams on the road in the 2022 season, but yes, they'll play Clemson. They weren't expecting Syracuse to be that good. But now you see back-to-back-to-back top 10 opponents. Clemson number 10, Duke number 7, and then Syracuse number 3. Coach Ian McIntyre went into the transfer portal too. Got that kid who was player of the week from Seattle, and Seattle is known to put out good teams year in and year out on the West Coast. Got him to come all the way from Seattle to Syracuse. I remember when they came here last year, Kyle, we talked to Coach McIntyre. We see this team and you know, we do our research on them. And it's just that this team is really, really talented, but you don't have the results as far as your record. And you know, how is that as a coach? And the way Coach McIntyre said is, well, Carson,
He's got to be careful. He's already on a yellow card, having some words with the referee.
and Coach McIntyre, you just said he didn't seem too flustered, and I think he had an idea that he had something in the work, and it has showed so far. Can never rule out Syracuse, even if they're having a down year. They could still come in and create a challenge for any team. Garino, long ball looping up in the air by Suzuki, and Chase Oliver is ruled offside. Maybe he started off in the offside position, came back. And the side judge waves the flag. The Deacons not waving the flag here with about 24 and a half left to go. They want more goals. They want to add to another category that they are top 10 in the nation in the goal differential. And one of the top teams in corner kicks. Top teams in shots. Sears skates by. Oliver is to his left. Sears waits and then tries to play it on that last second. Good defense as they were anticipating that last second release, or that last half a second release. But you feel for Oliver because you're like, come on, come on, send it, send it. Guarino, long diagonal ball breaking lines. Rona going 1v1. Sears lays it off. Here's Fess.
Good tackle again. 5 goals is harsh on George Mason tonight. I think they performed incredibly well in the first half, and the shape and tackling has been very good.
Ball lifted in the air for Rona, and flag is up on him. He's in an offside position. Wake Forest has had plenty of flags waved on them for being in an offside position, but just trying to stretch the field. I don't think it's something to get upset with your team about unless it's habitual, right?
Correct,
If
yeah.
your striker's constantly offside.
Well, and it has been a little bit habitual, but they've had enough attacking possession in most of these games so far, and enough creativity that they can get around being aggressive in those situations.
Wake Forest coming into the night was 14th in goal differential. Rona escapes. And that ball was not played off his boot the way he wanted. 22 minutes remaining in this one. George Mason still fighting, though. Here's Wexman. As Aguirre said, patience, not all about winning and scoring, and tonight will be one of those tests as far as your patience. Once you get close, that fruit, that carrot's right in front of you, you tie the #1 team and 1-1, and then that kind of shakes the wasp nest.
That's right.
Good step by Sam Jones. Guarino, 1-2, Guarino. Once again, good defense, did not let up, and understood that Leo Guarino was going to use that outside of his right foot. And they did not allow him that much time to do anything with it. No quit in this GMU team. Syracuse leading in the second half against Colgate. That's 1-0. And at halftime, Kentucky, the slight edge over Lipscomb. Lipscomb 21st in the country. Kentucky 5th. Duke also leading. Slight edge over Elon 1-0. There's some other Tuesday night matchups. And now Coach Muse will bring in another line of weapons, and on that line is Baba Niang.
Number 4, Alec Kinnison.
Getting
Number 18, Cooper Flax.
more and more
Number
minutes in
23,
every game.
Rod Wallet.
Really, really positive to see. He's had injury troubles early in his career, and Bobby Muse has been very, very careful with Baba Niang, but slowly working his way into form and fitness, and that can do nothing but benefit this team.
The armband goes to Rona. Tubbs goes out. Long diagonal ball to Wallent. Vlad Wallent slots it. Forbes left foot across and sliding into the goal. Rona.
And that could be some action by the referee as well, I thought, for what was a very dangerous tackle on the end product there. Glad everybody's okay.
Here's a question. So if the slide tackle from behind PK, it scores anyway, you're just going to say.
Yeah, I think you should still give the card, but I mean, that is a dangerous tackle on David Rona. Goodness
He's
gracious.
not even upset about the tackle.
No, he looked to the referee. I mean, it's a great moment for David Rona. That is I think if that's a penalty, it's a red card.
I'm completely going behind,
But I think the
player.
referee can still give a card, even if the goal is scored. Either way, happy for David Rona wearing the captain's armband. That's a really great moment for David Rona to find the back of the net here in front of Spry, help move the team to 8-0 on the season, keep that winning streak at Spry alive, which will move to 13 after this game. Heck of a moment for David Rona.
Can make Coach Muse upset. Still 19 minutes left.
Ty.
You saw NFL
Ty.
Sunday, right?
Ty, don't do this.
I'm telling you. 6 goals on 17 shots, 16 different goal scores. Props to Jason Christie, our graphics guy, always the best. Even though he's mad at me most of the time. Jason Christie doing his thing. There's a substitution with Rebels coming in. You saw that, you heard that line being broadcasted by Jeffrey Griffin, the public announce addresser, right? I can't imagine his face once he got that list. Right here, all the substitutions. Great, I have to read all this. That's a good-looking ball, and that very well could be. Wow, that was just in the nick of time, but good sequence of events for George Mason. Forbes got wrapped up in the net. Thought Trace Alpin may have been hurt, but just Forbes had got his cleat caught in the net.
Doesn't want to let him go.
Nope. Still. Good link up between the George Mason players on that attack too, as it was Raphael at the end of it. So if there's a silver lining in this match, trailing 6-1, there's a couple of times where they've orchestrated some nice attack into the final third. And Raphael's been the one that's usually in the area. Alec Kinnison, freshman, now in at the back. Highly recruited. Coach Muse said the second half of the season was going to be the true test, and we knew that coming in when you got the slate. announced, especially when you got Clemson, Duke, and Syracuse. But and like you said in the open too, Kyle, it's not where you are now; it's where you are in December.
Mm-hmm.
And what are you supposed to say? Well, we were number one, and on September 20th.
Too bad.
Yeah. Still nice to say, though.
Sure is. I mean, absolutely.
I'm not gonna lie.
You can say, hey, I was a part of a #1 team in the country, and that's pretty cool, but it's nothing more than that.
Long ball by Alec Kinnison from San Diego, California. Coach Buse also said with training sessions and the very few that they've had, because quick turnarounds, they got Saturday off after the win against Virginia Tech 1-0. Then they trained on Monday, and he said the energy was at the level he wanted. And if Coach Buse says the energy is at the level he wants, then that's pretty high energy.
Playing for Wake Forest, number 6, Ethan Johannes. Number 21,
Johannes back
Julian
in.
Kennedy, and number 22,
Fessler goes out.
Sidney Perez.
Julian Kennedy back in. Sidney Paris also put on a little display. And the ball served by his left foot. He's a player, too. He's very, very, very talented, obviously, from what he did at the Naval Academy. But sometimes when you get into the ACC, it's just like anywhere, too, Kyle. I mean, you see this in professional ranks when you make, a trade or even with a high draft pick that goes to an NFL team. They just need that time to adapt. And, Sidney Paris has got the skill. He's just trying to get used to the speed of ACC play, and once he gets that, I think he will be another dangerous tool.
Yeah, he's had good moments tonight. A couple of nice little skill plays out there on the flank and showing his worth. Completely agree with you.
Had a really good summer this year for NC Fusion. Now 13 minutes remaining. The Deacons emptying the bench. Oh, that was another dangerous playback, but Trace Alphen cleared it away from the possible attacker that was right there in front. Which is Cameron Revels. Nice probing pass to Cameron Revels. Through ball. Revels holds it up, has the right decision to move it to his right. George Mason trying to cook up something, but here's Baba Niang racing.
How about that tackle?
Yeah, you could see Baba Niang. He's smiling because he saw that ball was way out in front. And he had Wallant beside him. It was almost like they were racing each other.
We've seen Ahmed Mohamed a couple of times tonight make some very pinpoint challenges. That was a necessary tackle because, like you said, Baba was on his horse and he had Wallant in support.
Interesting update on the scores is North Carolina, how talented they are, tied with UNCW 0-0 in the second half. That game being played at Chapel Hill. Forbes somehow in some way was able to connect with Sidney Paris as he sent a bullet across the field on the switch. I don't think there's going to be any upset fans tonight about the offense entertainment, or the attack entertainment, because put on a clinic, at least in the second half. Flats, head up, sends the long diagonal ball for Baba Niang to go get it. And that looked like the defender playing the man, but also trying to keep that away from Baba Niang.
Ty,
out of bounds.
I hate that play. And it's one of my least favorite plays in soccer. They do it from the top level all the way on down. And the referee allows it every single time.
It's your clear as day,
Yeah,
playing the player.
But it's legal, right? Like, the referee allows it 10 times out of 10. It's blatantly obvious that the guy throws his shoulder into Niang, but that's allowed. And you know, you can't blame the referee. That's legal in this game. I hate it because it allows guys to do that, which is throw a shoulder when you've got a brick wall right there. It's super dangerous. I am surprised that more people don't get hurt in those situations, because you have defenders throwing shoulders left and right and throwing hips and all kind of things. But
especially with frustrations,
they allow it every single time, and I think it shouldn't be part of the game. It's frustrating to me, but it is part of the game. It's not one referee. It's not this referee. It's literally every referee. So it's part of the rules of the game, and it is allowed. I think that's one that might need to change, but it's not quite as bad as the fumble the rule out of the end zone penalty, which is the worst. It's the worst. I mean, rule. It's the worst rule in sports, but it's a close second.
You don't even know what a catch is anymore.
I know.
Did the ball make any movement in his hand? So it's supposed to completely stand still. Sidney Paris looking to go up ahead to Julian Kennedy. Here's a service ball cut out immediately, but Deacons in search for the 7th goal of the match. Just hoping for a little bit more sprinkles on top of this ice cream sundae. Which pushes the streak to 13, program record. Hernandez, left foot across, just had one option on the near stick, which was Kennedy. Here is Sidney Paris. I mean, seriously skating on that byline. And see ya. Kabe in number 15. And we're down to 7.5 to go. Virginia leading American. That's in the second half too. Virginia in a last second, and I mean last second, defeat against Notre Dame in Charlottesville. Did you happen to see that? Oh. Everybody pushed up. It's 1-1. The ball squirts out. You're gonna use your attacker. Your 9 is full speed ahead, and with everybody up, ball goes, and it's just 1v1 with the keeper, and the clock is ticking. And so Virginia fans are like, there's no way he's gonna get this off. And sure enough, he did. Shot clock, it wasn't time, and game clock was in time, and it was a 2-1 Notre Dame victory. And a lot of upset UVA fans.
Dinkabe. Hernandez. Kennedy. Hernandez gets the rebound. Sid Vicious. Oh, Sidney Paris trying to hammer it down on the near stick. Just couldn't find a pathway to get into the back of the net.
I don't know how Hernandez got that initial ball through two defenders and then a brilliant save by Langley to keep out the first effort, and then a block at the back post, or the near post on the second attempt. Well defended by George Mason, but my goodness, the Demon Deacons just continue to pour it on.
Yet another corner for the Demon Deacons. Left-footed, swinging in. Kennison comes up. Wanted to send it right back in the box. Plays Cooper Flax to the left. You can hear Coach Muse saying, great ball. Sidney Paris. Hernandez. Little extra touch. He's just trying to, a couple box steps in there, just looking for that tee to put it on. And he can hit it with his left or his right. Hernandez will take the corner again from the far flag. 4.5 left to go. The Deacons searching for number 7. 13 is definitely in the bag. 13 in a row for the Demon Deacons. And they're
hey, I got in trouble for saying that. How come you can say it?
What?
I got in trouble for saying that it was in the bag. You said Bobby Muse would be upset with me. And now you can say it?
But that was with 18 minutes. There's 4 minutes.
You think they could score 5 goals in 18 minutes?
I'm just saying I'm better off right now with 4. Hernandez looking for Dinkabe. That's true. Our producer Everett Hutto says, thanks for not predicting the weather.
Yeah.
He's still going to give you.
I can't win on this broadcast.
Yes, you're good. That was. I mean, I saw the radar you saw, so I'll still give you credit that you did make the right report. It was just.
No, I don't get credit for that.
It was just hilarious that it was almost as if the referee knew you made the call that, hey, we're free to go from now on. No bad storms in the area. And then everybody go to the locker room. Sidney Paris got it right back to him. Almost had a second try.
I mean, Paris is doing his absolute best to get Wake Forest to 7th goal here. He continues to prove himself a lightning bolt down that right side. Just shooting his way down the flank, and here he goes again.
Sidney Paris keeps the ball up. Flax wants to give it a go. Kennison with a challenge, and Kennison will get called for the foul. Just under 3 minutes to go. Credit to our crew, as always. The best in the business. Our bug operator, Jerry Thomas. Audio 1, Jeff Anderson. Carl Russell on camera, as well as Tim Hedrick. Dave, Fields of Dreams, also here. Camera 3, Justin Cox. Alex Burdine right beside us. Our engineer, Wes Heileman. Our producer, Everett Hutto. Our replay assistant, Peyton Hughes. Our replay lead, Kelsey Crook. Technical director, Drew D. Mark Antonio. Daniel Rainwater, and of course our graphics guy extraordinaire, Jason Christie. Our executive producer, James Overstreet. The A-team, always a joy once they're behind the scenes. Hernandez still also trying to get his footing. And look at that. He got his footing there. Escapes. Wanted to do a diagonal pass to Kennedy. I think Kennedy actually thought that was out of bounds, kind of like what I thought.
Yeah, well,
Kenny was like, "Where'd you come from? Why'd you have the ball?"
He had Nick Mancia in the top corner of the penalty box. I think that was probably the better option. But, I mean, unbelievable to get free in the first place for Hernandez. Goodness gracious, this Deeks team is putting on a show tonight. How about the fans that came out to watch the #1 ranked team in the country? They got their money's worth.
They sure did. Kennedy. One extra step over.
He wants a nutmeg is what he wanted there. He wanted to bring home a win and a dead body.
Eyes on the clock as the Deacons really want the 7th goal. They did score in the closing seconds of the first half, which is hard to believe, but that was the goal that put them ahead. This is Sidney Paris, and off the line, brilliant goalkeeping by Jake Langley. He's still playing at 100%, and he takes that one away from Sidney Paris. Sidney Paris kind of frustrated that the keeper came off his line, but there's the 13th consecutive win at home. That is the longest home win streak